Good day, my name is Markus Hugenschmidt. I'm the CEO of Jam Cyber. Welcome to Cyber CEO, where we in short videos explain some terms and technologies around cybersecurity. Today we're looking at what is application hardening. Application hardening, in a nutshell, the most important component of it is basically blocking some technologies that may be handy, but they also pose a security risk. Namely, on a browser level or from an internet level point of view, this is Flash, and the other big one is Java. So while both of those can be really handy and can present nice looking websites and implement a bunch of functionality, they of course also have the risk of basically bringing some malicious software on board, which is one of the reasons why Flash, for example, is completely blocked by Apple, or at least that's what they're saying. Anyway, another big one would be OLE, which is object linking and embedding, which allows you to switch contents across applications without actually importing it, but rather linking it. But in most instances, you really don't need that. So disabling that, for example, in Microsoft Office has a big positive security impact, and similar functionality in PDF readers, etc., can just be disabled as well. That's in a nutshell what application hardening means: the disabling of sort of comfortable or nice to have functionality that in reality you really actually don't need. And because these technologies can also import or bring in security threats, disabling them is usually the best approach. However, there's instances where you can't just disable it. And so in particular, when it comes to websites, you may still have websites that need Flash. For example, you may have some old internet banking website or business banking website that just needs Flash. And so what we now can do is with modern technology, basically, we can force or we can disable Flash completely, but we can go and say, well, for this website, it works. Another thing we can do these days is you may have it's rare, but it happens still, you may have some websites that require one specific browser, say an old version of Internet Explorer, but really across your company you want to use Chrome or Edge or something else. So based on the site, we can actually nominate whether it's using your standard browser or whether just for that one website it's going to use a separate browser. This is the stuff we can sort of do these days, and that clearly improves your security a lot. Now, there's two ways to deploy this. One is you can just do it on each computer. There's two major drawbacks. The first one is the individual user can't just change it back, but also it's very hard to manage. Historically, in an enterprise-grade environment, these kind of settings would have been deployed by a server across the network. Of course, now where we're in a cloud-enabled environment, that server is no longer here. We basically have to do that via the cloud, and we can. So we've got tools that can pretty much deploy that kind of functionality and enforce it via our Jam Cyber product framework. Why is application hardening relevant? It's always been relevant, but it is now also a requirement by the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, or their Essential 8 framework. And one of their elements is that user application hardening, among 7 other ones we can go in, or we're going into in other segments. When this is pretty much a de facto standard for any Australian or global, really, small or medium business that they should implement, and that will pretty much double their cybersecurity just from the get-go with those 8 measures. That's it for today. Thanks so much for your time and patience, and have a lovely time. Cheers.